Welcome back, everybody. Today on Hey Leon, What's That Riff? We're taking a look at the guitar solo, I know, a guitar solo, not a riff, from the Ragdoll track Rust. And you just heard a little bit of Rust right there. Last week, I did a video talking about speeding up a guitar solo, learning it sped up, filming it sped up, and then slowing it down in post-production. And I used the solo from Rust as an example. A bunch of people asked me if I could break it down, so I'm more than happy to do that. I've previously done a lesson on my channel breaking down the whole song, including the solo, but I figured it might be cool to revisit it just so I can explore and explain some of the ideas going on here. Now, I'm in drop C, so CGC, FAD, Kugafad tuning as some like to call it, and the whole solo basically, well, not the whole solo, like 95% of it draws on the C Phrygian dominant mode. I was really going for a cross between like a Malmsteen and a Marty Friedman vibe with this one. So we'll go lick by lick, we'll sort of talk about the inspiration and some of the thinking behind it. I have to admit there's often not a lot of thinking when I play a guitar solo. I basically just put the track on and I play and play and play until I hear something that I like. So this one was kind of fun to break down. All right, lick number one is also the same as the very last lick in the song. So you get a 2-for-1 meal deal there. This is what it sounds like. That's actually harder to play and get the right phrasing because these notes at the start, so fret 10, 11, 10, 8 at the start, it's like 5 notes crammed into the space where you would normally put a triplet. So you get this cool rushed kind of feeling. So straight away, there's musical tension there because of that rhythmic grouping. Then on the next string, you play 11, 10, 8. And then you get fret 11 on the third string. The way I'm picking that is I'm starting with a downstroke, then on the next string it's up, down, up. The last upstroke, I use a little economy motion and sweep to the next string. So. And again, that's a thing that I only realized I was doing when I went back and I kind of slowed this down. So there's a little bit of economy picking there. This is a Malmsteen lick through and through, and he normally takes a sequence like this and repeats it in octaves, and that's the next part of the lick. It just happens down the octave. So starting on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, we play it. Now, rather than play the last note on the 5th string, I just go down a semitone to the 4th fret on the 4th string. The reason being that I then slide up from there to the 12th fret. So all up. This is what it sounds like at 70% speed with tab and then at full speed. And you can really hear that Phrygian dominant tonality in there when I'm going from that last note, which is a major 3rd of the scale, all the way up to the root. Then we kind of do this melodic sliding idea where, again, it's just straight up Phrygian dominant. Sounds like this. So that's 12 to 13. Then you slide down to 7, then up to 10. And then down to 5. Then you go from 5 up to 7, then all the way up to the major 3rd again on fret 16. Essentially what I'm doing there is outlining, I guess it's like an altered dominant chord because we've got the root, we've got the major 3rd, we've got the 5th, the dominant 7th, flat 9. There's also the 4th in there, but the 4th is one of those notes where you just kind of hit and you're like, oh, cool, the 4th. Let's move on. Nevertheless, we get this. Alrighty, then we have what some people pointed out is like the freak show excess lick, if you've heard that Steve Vai song. I'm on the 11th fret of the 3rd string. It's a major 3rd. I'm bending it by a semitone to the 4th. I'm releasing it, and then I'm fretting the 12th. So I get that thing. Kind of has like a sitar vibe, reminds me of Steve Vai or Marty Friedman or somebody like that, or me, because I do that a lot. Then you play those 2 notes again and you hit the 13th fret of the 2nd string, which is the dominant 7th interval. So it's this. And again, at 70% speed and 100% speed. Next, we have some absolute stank getting here. When I said it's like 95% Phrygian dominant, well, there's a kind of passing tone in here, which isn't native to the scale, but it sounds amazing. We're starting on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, and then we play 7-8 on that string, then 7-10 on the 2nd string. Again, straight up Phrygian dominant, but then I play the 9th fret, and then the 10th fret of the 2nd string. So the sharp 4, which is kind of borrowing from Lydian dominant, I guess. And then I hammer on and pull off from the 7th fret to the 8th fret, so back to Phrygian dominant. Again, there's some mini sweeps in there. That thing at the end, 7 on the 2nd string, 8 on the 3rd string, 10 on the 4th string is a little diminished arpeggio, again, for that neoclassical vibe. Then this might be my favorite lick coming up. We go back to that kind of freak show excess zone, the... Then what I do is I hit the, what is that? That's 11, 12 on the 3rd string, and then 10, 13 on the 2nd string. Then I hit this 13th fret again, but I swap fingers to my 1st finger. That is stank face territory right there. So we hit that note, then it is 15, 14 on the top string, then it's 15, 13 on the 2nd string, and then it's 15, no it's not, it's 14, 13. Again, there's that sharp 4 interval, a little bit of Lydian dominant creeping in. Really makes you go, oh my god, fungus. So we have this. And again, 70%, 100%. Then this is totally in that realm of, something Marty Friedman would have played on the Rust in Peace record. We have, I guess, just a straight up diminished 7th arpeggio, but we start on fret 17, we slide up to fret 20 and slide back, and then we pull off to fret 14, all on the top string. And then just down a diminished 7th arpeggio. So that would be 16 on the 2nd string, and then 17, 14 on the 3rd string. And again, I'm doing a little sweep for this sec. Then this is really cool. This is basically, again, just kind of like a dominant 7th idea. I'm starting on the 14th fret, so it's a major 3rd of the scale, sliding up to the 5th interval, which is fret 17, and then pulling off to the 10th fret. That's actually a little C major arpeggio. And then on the 2nd string, I play 13, 10, and 8, so making it essentially, well, again, hey, we got the 4th in there, don't worry about the 4th. All right, and I guess the 4th just kind of sitting there is like, well, it's pretty unresolved. It sets you up for the last lick, which is... And then you've got the rest of the solo. So I should explain that section again. Sliding 14, 17, 14, pulling off to 10, and then it's 13, 10 on the next string, going down to 8. And what's cool about that is then you, from this note, that interval of a fifth kind of lurking in there, which is pretty cool. So you can hear in this solo, there's a lot of like kind of floaty rhythmic ideas as well, which build tension. The overall Phrygian dominant tonality is quite tense and like, you know, really, really metal sounding, which we wanted for this part of the song. But then there's that kind of fast run, which sounds a bit rushed because there's that grouping of 5. So kind of like the solo gradually gets like more and more uneasy until you have that the fast stuff at the end, which kind of seals the deal there. So let's hear those last licks at 70% and 100%. And there you go, that's the guitar solo for Rust. Hopefully what I was talking about makes a little bit of sense, and it kind of, you know, sheds a bit of light on what my musical brain was thinking in the background there. Again, like any piece of music you write, it's all about tension and release, and this whole section really wants us to go from the bridge all the way up to the final chorus. And when we get to that final chorus, we want that to sound epic. So this whole solo to me tells a little story, and it builds a lot of tension. It kind of just percolates and bubbles, and then you get the big release in the song when you go back to the big hook in the chorus. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this particular lesson. Let me know which Ragdoll track you would like me to do next, whether it's a riff or a solo or a melody or anything like that, because they are a lot of fun. I will put up the entire solos at 70% and 100% with tab on screen for you right now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.